In English, when we use the term silver lining, we are referring to the good in a bad situation. For example, a company might face a sudden drop in sales due to a new competitor. Well, while this is certainly a difficult situation, the silver lining might be that it forces the company to innovate or improve their products or even to create new products. By the way, the full phrase is actually every cloud has its silver lining, meaning that even heavy storm clouds have a bright silver or hopeful edge. And it's true, terrible situations often do have their silver linings. It was no different with COVID, that deadly pandemic that completely disrupted all of our lives. Obviously, COVID led to many deaths, and I don't want to minimize any of these. But maybe you're already thinking of some silver linings from COVID. Well, often the first thing that comes to mind is the rise of remote working. As a lot of countries were forced to practice social distancing, companies implemented new stay-at-home policies for the first time. And we all quickly discovered that it was actually quite possible to perform many functions at work, all from the safety and comfort of our homes. Yet now, even after the pandemic's end, this trend of remote working does not seem to be going anywhere. In fact, as we near the end of this course, and more specifically, as we end this mini unit on the future of work, I want to look at one trend that is likely an offshoot or result of the rise of remote working, and that is digital nomadism. So without further ado, let's get down to brass tacks. Digital nomadism is an idea more and more popular, especially with the younger, new generation of workers. This buzzword, digital nomad, signifies a lifestyle choice that blends work and travel in a way that was previously unimaginable. A nomad, by the way, is the word we use for a person who doesn't stay in one place very long. Normally, it's used to refer to those people we sometimes see in developing countries, the ones who move with the animals they're responsible for, or who sleep in tents. So obviously, digital nomads refer to those who use technology to work remotely from various locations all around the world. As we shall see, this trend is reshaping our understanding of work, travel, and even community. Basically, digital nomadism is about leveraging technology to achieve a location-independent work life. In other words, digital nomads harness the power of high-speed internet and cloud computing, as well as platforms like Zoom, Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Trello, all so they can perform their jobs from anywhere, as long as they have a fast enough internet connection. Obviously, this is an attractive idea, as this could mean working from a beach in Bali, a coffee shop in Lisbon, or a co-working space in Buenos Aires. In fact, Bali, Indonesia, is not just a tropical island for tourists with stunning landscapes. It's become one of, if not the destination for digital nomads. And the reason is simple. The government of Indonesia has recently passed the Digital Nomad visa, which has made it really easy for digital nomads to come and live in Indonesia. Before, these remote workers usually entered on a simple tourist visa, which only permitted them to stay 6 months. With a little luck, they could extend their stay, but now, with the Digital Nomad visa, they can stay up to 5 years without having to worry about an extension. But that's not all. Under the Digital Nomad visa, these workers are exempt from paying income tax on money they earn outside the country. That's right, as long as you're working remotely, either for a company or for clients that are not based in Indonesia, you don't have to pay Indonesian taxes on that income. No wonder why Bali is such a hot spot for digital nomads. But, you might be asking, why would the Indonesian government be so accommodating to digital nomads? In other words, why do they provide such great conditions for these remote workers? I mean, it almost seems like they want digital nomads in their country. Well, it's because they do. Because even though they don't pay taxes, the digital nomads' presence in the country helps the local economy, as these remote workers must spend on accommodation, food, transportation, and all the other costs of living. And not only does it boost the Indonesian economy, it also enhances their reputation as a global hub for digital nomads. This way, Indonesia is able to attract skilled workers from all over the world in a variety of fields like technology, design, and marketing. Obviously, this lifestyle is only possible with internet, as well as the fact that many companies have now embraced remote work. But to continue this short look at digital nomadism, I'd like to look a bit deeper into its origins, as well as the different kinds of personalities it attracts. A lot of digital nomadism's rise can be attributed to a rather famous book by Timothy Ferriss titled The 4-Hour Workweek. Well, as the name suggests, in the book, Ferriss outlines his own journey from a traditional office job to a life of travel and remote work. He details how he streamlined his work processes, delegated tasks, and leveraged technology, all to create a lifestyle where he could spend more time traveling and less time working. Now, if this lifestyle sounds attractive to you, you're not alone. With his best-selling book, Ferriss earned even more money as he lounged on beaches, all the while inspiring a new generation of would-be remote workers not wanting to spend all their lives in boring offices. People like Tiffany and Jake, for example. They were a couple from the US and both had successful corporate careers, but found themselves wishing for a different kind of life. And so, after years of working in high-pressure jobs, they decided to transition to a digital nomad lifestyle. It proved rather easy, as they both had skills that were easily transferable to remote work. Tiffany was a digital marketer, and Jake was a web developer. They started by reducing their living expenses, selling or donating most of their belongings, and then they booked a one-way ticket to Southeast Asia. Their journey began in Thailand, where they worked from various co-working spaces, explored local cultures, and enjoyed the more affordable lifestyle in Thailand. Oh, I should probably explain what a co-working space is, as it's quite a big component or part of the digital nomad lifestyle. As its name suggests, a co-working space is a shared working environment where individuals such as freelancers, remote workers, and small business owners can rent desk or office space. But unlike traditional offices, co-working spaces offer flexible membership options. So people can choose between hot desks, where you can use any available spot that's free at the moment, or you can choose between fixed or dedicated desks, or even private offices. These co-working spaces typically provide all the essentials like high-speed internet, printing services, meeting rooms, and even kitchen facilities. The main goal is to create productive and professional environments, all while fostering or building a sense of community. But while we've talked a lot about the appeal of digital nomadism, for example, the flexibility and freedom, as well as the reduced living costs, I want to end by talking about the potential downsides of this lifestyle. What do you think? Does anything immediately spring to mind? Well, for starters, how about the legal and logistical issues? Sure, Indonesia now has their digital nomad visa, but not all countries are so accommodating. and the tax regulations can be quite complex. For example, US citizens, even if they live in Bali, will still need to pay taxes in the US. But beyond the tax and legal issues, there are also just the normal human issues like isolation and loneliness, being away from family and long-term friends and constantly moving from place to place. Well, it can obviously impact mental well-being, to say nothing about connectivity issues. As we've mentioned, high-speed internet is a prerequisite for remote work, but it can sometimes be difficult to find, especially in countries with less developed infrastructures. Then again, a friend of mine provides an interesting example as to why these issues might not be so important to a digital nomad. You see, my friend created a startup and he even had investors. His product? Well, it was some software or application designed especially for digital nomads. And this software would help them find reliable and high-speed internet. So, for example, before they moved to an area or neighborhood, they could use this application to be certain the internet was good. Guess what? Only when my friend traveled to Bali to do market research did he discover that his potential customers, these digital nomads, they actually enjoyed trying to find these internet hotspots. Searching for the internet put them into contact with other digital nomads, and this networking and community was actually part of the adventure and part of the lifestyle they didn't want to do without. So unfortunately for my friend, after about 6 months of nonstop work, he realized his startup idea was not going to work. But I suppose the silver lining is he gained a lot of useful experience for the future.